Listen, thanks everyone for coming out tonight and hopefully getting your awards for those that are going to get them, and giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of Action for Children, which is the charity we're trying to support tonight. I've come specifically to ask you to support the Byte Night. Now, when I read that, I thought it seems a weird thing to do, go out and bite people, but I suppose people in your community know that Byte is B-Y-T-E, and it's an event that's taking place later this year in Manchester in October. I'll give you the date for that in a second, but just a little background. About 12 years ago, a senior executive from the IT industry saw one of the Action for Children's huge posters, one of which is out there, highlighting the work that they do for the homeless people, and particularly children, which is my concern. It struck a chord with him, and he decided to get together a few friends to sleep out for the night to raise money for Action for Children, and thus Byte Night was born. It's become the IT and digital industry's annual sleep out. Gets you out of your rooms, I suppose. And each year, hundreds of individuals and teams from across the IT and business community spend a night exposed to the elements in a bid to raise sponsorship and awareness of Action for Children's work with young homeless people and young care leavers. Last year, around 700 people slept out in 5 different regional centres around the country, and the event raised a staggering £540,000. And yeah. So the date to put in your diary, and I suppose being in the IT industry you can do that with your iPhones now, is October the 8th. It's a Friday. And hundreds of... What do you say, you can't come? Hundreds of sleepers will be taking part in Manchester, London, Cambridge, Reading and Edinburgh, all raising money for sponsorship. Manchester has had this event for the last 3 years, and we want to... London's had it for 10, so we think they're being greedy. We want to up the profile of people in Manchester, particularly, taking part in the event, so we hope you'll consider it. I've got it on good authority. It's a brilliant event. It's not quite the dirge that it might seem, but it's all part of I hope you'll think it's a worthy cause. But I just want to share with you, I mean, playing the part that I do in Shameless, obviously I get quite a bit of feedback from the streets. And I remember, I'm sort of to my shame really, I was in a restaurant, I don't know, a year or so ago, and I stepped out to have a social moment with a friend or two, and I saw this young guy, and I got talking to him, and he, through no fault of his own, I don't think he was scamming me. His mother dropped into heroin, and she'd wandered off, and him and his brother, younger brother, were taken into care, and his story really stayed with me and was really touching. And all this lad wanted to do was to find a trade and learn a trade, and he couldn't find the wherewithal or the funds to do it. It's people like that young lad that I remember, that those are the people we need help. I think in this city there's about, the incidences of child poverty are about 1 in 4 in this country, which seems extraordinary to me, which is more than the odds of England winning the World Cup, I suppose. But, and some areas of Manchester it's 2 in 4. I mean, as we speak, there are kids on the streets tonight. I don't want to be a downer on the event, but there are, and I know them because I see them a lot and speak to them a lot. And I hope you'll think it's a worthy cause, and I hope you'll commit to this, just this one night of sleeping out to support Action for Children. So thank you. We'll just run the video and then we'll speak again.
My mum's boyfriend used to batter me, used to basically brutally beat me with all sorts of different weapons, lock me underneath the stairs, starve me for weeks, basically batter my mum if she tried helping me, and I used to take it out on my mum more than out, until basically my auntie came and took me away, and I lived with her for a while, but I started being really bad. And then they put me into social services, and so I grew up in care. I was in and out of kids' homes, running away, staying on the streets, and basically staying with friends, sofa surfing, and just basically not being productive at all. When you move from pillar to post, not settled, you've got no stable environment to come home to at night. It's basically me against the world. You do get lonely, depressed, and just resort to drugs and alcohol, which basically takes all your pain away, it just makes you forget. So while you're forgetting, you're not dealing with it, it's just a way of coping. Drink is basically liquid bread which feeds you, so I weren't eating. I was just drinking all the time, but when I was eating I was going out shoplifting and all sorts of different things. Even as far down as seeing somebody get up off the kitchen table and just pop out the room to climbing through the back window and stealing something off the plate. I met Ray through my social worker. To start off with, they found me a place, but at 18 I grew too old to stay there, and then now I've ended up getting my own flat through Ray's help as well. The thing I'm looking forward to most is basically going home, having somewhere nice to stay at night, a warm bed, a roof above my head, putting my feet up in front of the telly. Tell you the truth, getting a beer out of the fridge and having a decent dinner. The girl that I'm with at the minute is pregnant and hoping to have a baby, so I'm looking forward to basically being a dad and looking after the baby and giving it something which I never had, which is a stable environment to live in. And if it wasn't for Action for Children, I'd still be on heroin. I'd probably even be in a ditch now. To tell you the truth, if I'd have done that many drugs, I'd have probably ended up taking an overdose. Well, I probably ended up drinking myself to death.
Thanks. Just a small example of a very big problem there. I guess it's a film that it's slightly zhuzhed up to get your attention. I'm sorry it didn't grab everybody's attention. But I hope you think it's a worthy cause. I hope you think it's something you find you could commit to. We'd be deeply grateful at Action for Children. And just as a byline, there are one or two people who seem to want to take their photograph with me. If you do want to do that tonight, you have to put £1 in Alicia's pocket. It will be stood over there for the cause. Thanks for your attention. I hope you have a great night. Thanks.